So I'm here in Encinitas, Southern California, and I want to show something about tomato fungus and the growing of tomatoes. Now, we all know that tomato fungus, tomato blight is a huge problem with growing tomatoes, especially if they're in hoop houses where the humidity affects the prolific expansion of the spore profile. And of course, the soil that is infested with tomatoes allows it to become an ongoing problem every year. So what I'm going to show you is I'm growing in an area here. You can see it's a lot of shade, huge amount of shade. There's this sort of grandfathered raised bed here, and mulberry tree, cherry blossom tree, jacaranda, giving this vegetable area a huge amount of shade, which encourages the damp humidity to create a problem with tomato fungus. And last year it was a major issue. So this year I thought I'd throw on some organic calcium oxide because I heard from another farmer that it created a great solution to his tomato fungus problem. And the interesting thing about organic calcium oxide is it's a fairly new phenomenon. It's not understood or recognized in the academic world because it's such a rare phenomenon to have a limestone that naturally occurs with organic calcium oxide mixed in with the calcium carbonate. And there's a ancient freshwater limestone from an ancient lake bed near Fernley in Nevada that comes from a company that provides this organic crushed rock dust that is a mix of calcium oxide and calcium carbonate. So without further ado, I just want to show you the results. I want to draw the attention to this raised vegetable bed here. Now I have a lot of other vegetables growing. I've got about quite an extensive little baby farm here with no problems with tomato fungus because they get enough sun and there's not excessive humidity. Although even in an area down there where there's tomatoes, you normally get it, but I mixed calcium oxide down there and we've got none. However, the calcium oxide doesn't seem to work on the tree collard. Look at this leaf. Look at that tomato fungus. Look at this leaf. So the tree collard in the shade is perfect ground for this infestation. Now I want to look at the blue Italian kale. I'm going to rub a lot here. You see how it comes off. Let's do it again. Let's rub it, and you can see the real color of the leaf once I rub it there. Yeah, that's the whole kale looks like light blue Italian kale. It's completely covered. Interestingly enough, and must be strange, there's a variety of different tomato plants here. Where is the tomato fungus? Literally, there's a few dead leaves down there because they don't get any sun down in the base, but right beside the tree collard is something extraordinary. Tomatoes growing. I'm not saying that the tomato plant won't get any tomato fungus. I'm sure it will, but compared to last year, there's a dramatic resilience to the situation, and I'm amazed. So there's an artichoke that seems to be indifferent to tomato fungus. So anyway, there you have it. A very interesting comparison of vegetables growing together in a damp 90% shade area, and the fungus attacking the tree collard and the Italian blue kale. This kale doesn't seem to be too bothered by it. There's a bit on it, but it's definitely not affecting the growth. having said that, there's this huge misunderstanding in the academic world. A friend of mine, farmer in Northern California, was told by the agricultural department of Davis University to stop growing for 10 years. And maybe the infestation of the spores in the ground would go away. And that really wasn't an option. And he had a huge amount of experience, and he knew about this calcium oxide rich rock dust and applied it. And because of his experience, I did the same thing here. And I've got more tomato plants down here growing. Now, if you want to try to control tomato fungus, you don't plant all your tomatoes together. But that's what I've done, and it's just not an issue. Completely not an issue. There's no tomato fungus on this area of plants. And I'm not saying a little bit won't spread on it, but I'm very sure it won't affect the crop. And so I mix this rock dust into all my soil before planting. And and you can see I have just a huge bumper crop of my vegetables do incredibly well. Another wonderful quality about the tomato fungus influence of calcium oxide is it doesn't hurt the extremely rich soil living organisms. It's very environmentally friendly, and of course you don't put a huge concentration of it in. I probably, on these 5 or 6 tomato plants, I probably put about 6 handfuls of calcium oxide from the company actnevada.com. I think the product's called Act Pro Min, and I will be buying a lot more of it. I think it's an incredible product. Sometime after this video was recorded, I noticed some mildew finally starting on the tomato plants, but it was much too late in the season to noticeably affect the crop. However, I wanted to relay again that compared to the drastic tomato loss I had last year, and because this was the only procedure I did differently this year, I believe the organic fossiliferous limestone rock dust of 30 to 40% calcium oxide with its added calcium carbonate and 70 trace elements had a definite effect. Each year I always add some calcium via gypsum, so I don't think it's the calcium component that changed the plant's immunity. Next year I plan on applying more to see if it will create an even more mitigation. Thank you very much.